Hi, I'm Bernie Flynn. At New Jersey Manufacturers Insurance Company, we believe that all citizens need to be informed about the important issues that affect their daily lives. That's why we're proud to support programming produced by Caucus Educational Corporation and their partners in public television.
Funding for this edition of Caucus New Jersey has been provided by Adler Aphasia Center, helping stroke and brain injury survivors recover their speech. Wells Fargo. Seton Hall University, where leaders learn. PSE&G, committed to improving New Jersey's economy and strengthening its communities. New Jersey Sharing Network, dedicated to saving lives through organ and tissue donation. NJM, auto insurance, homeowners insurance, and more, with a focus on safety and financial stability. And by Josh S. Weston.
Hi folks, I'm Steve Adubato. More importantly, we have two very special guests I want to introduce you to. First, Dr. Mary Ellen Caro, Vice President of Enrollment Management and Learner Services, Thomas Edison State University, and Captain Bart Roberts, Vice President, Flight Operations, JetBlue, and JetBlue Foundation board member and a veteran of
the United States Navy.
Thank you for your service to our country. We appreciate it. What a fascinating program initiative we're here to talk about. Captain, describe the initiative that the JetBlue Foundation is funding at Thomas Edison State University regarding aviation and aviation careers and why it's so important.
Well, it's important because what we want to do is we want to create an opportunity, a diverse opportunity for people to learn, whether they're adults or even younger. And it's all related to STEM education relative to them being able to progress their opportunities in the aviation field.
And the grant is, describe it.
This grant that we received from the JetBlue Foundation enables us to create the courseware for the aviation management degree. So it's extremely important because it helps funds the various courses that have to be created in the curriculum.
So right now, you told us right before we got on the air that there were 70 students, excuse me, in the program.
Well, we have overall, we have other programs with JetBlue, other academic programs. And we actually have about 80 students. We have close to 300 applicants. And we're delighted that we have the first class graduating, about 50 students tomorrow.
So tomorrow, as we do this program in mid-September, tomorrow 50 students are graduating. Describe, Captain, these graduates. What are they facing? What opportunities are there for them, more importantly?
It's really an opportunity because many of these people I know personally who have gone into the workforce and foregone their education, or many of them, you know, they did 2 years, 3 years, and they just did not have the opportunity, the money, or the wherewithal to be able to continue this education. And through JetBlue's scholars programs and our association with Thomas Edison State University, we've created opportunities for these adults to continue their education. And I will tell you personally, it means so much to these people to be able to fulfill a dream that they had, because many times they just had to put their life on hold from an educational perspective. And what JetBlue Scholars Program and the Thomas Edison State University has done is created a pathway for people to fulfill their dreams through education.
Doctor, help us understand this, because clearly, Captain, you're so committed to this. You talked about your background. As I read about you, you did not come from a background that was particularly privileged.
Correct.
Let's just say you came from a challenging background. You found aviation. You found a career, a passion that has meant so much in your life, and you've helped so many others. Describe this curriculum so people understand what these students are learning so that they are able to go out and have a career in aviation.
The value proposition of Thomas Edison State University, as it was created, is to help adults complete their degrees, whether it's a baccalaureate degree or a master's degree. So what's unique about this particular program is that we're able to take prior learning that's evaluated for credit, transfer credits that have come from their early attempts at education, JetBlue training, and put this all together with courseware so that a crew member at JetBlue might find out they're pretty far on their way to achieving a degree. And
describe, excuse me for interrupting, describe some of the coursework so people are really clear.
So
A course
within
in
the
what, for
coursework,
example?
aviation management, customer service related to the aviation industry, things like that. There are coursework in operations management. It's taking the JetBlue experience and crafting around it the surround that brings some of the theory to the experience.
Captain, there are real career opportunities here that to the average layperson we may not even understand.
Oh, absolutely. And that's really one of the values of it, is to create the opportunities and for people to realize that sometimes the boundaries that we place on ourselves are self-imposed, and we just need to be shown a path to be able to create opportunities to a future that they may not have had in the past. And that's really what JetBlue's foundation is all about, through our education incentives and then the work, certainly with the JetBlue Scholars Program.
Stay on this, Captain. Getting a plane off the ground. You smile as I'm saying this. I hate to say the Reader's Digest version, the PBS version, what does it take and how does it relate to all these potential jobs?
Well, it's really about confidence. It's really about building yourself to the level of that you feel confident that you can do something that maybe in the past you didn't feel you could do. And it's all through training.
But a team.
It is a team. It is a team, and it starts on the ground. And the thing and the beauty about the JetBlue Foundation is it's just not centered on pilots, because there are so many other opportunities for people. Such as becoming dispatchers. We need great maintenance technicians, and we need a lot of maintenance technicians, and we need people who work in the business itself of managing and running the airline, the safety aspect of the airline. It's phenomenal to me when you look at it on a ramp next time, and you look at all the activity, and you think about what it takes, the initiative and the dedication of the people to stay consistent to that. And that's all part of helping people grow through education.
I was saying that you were a veteran, you served, and so much of the programming we do is dedicated to not just honoring our veterans, but talking about the challenges they face. Some of the students are veterans.
They will be, yes, as they come into the program. We have students that begin with us as active military and stay with us and actually complete their degree as veterans. And they bring to the table military experience and coursework that can be evaluated for credit, plus a lifetime history and experience that is invaluable.
What's it like for each of you to see these people, these young and other different ages, pursue this dream and potentially have a life, a career, life-changing experience in aviation? What's it like for you?
Well, for me personally, you know, it's a payback. It's such a pleasure to see other people to succeed and to be given those opportunities and the pathways to success. And that's really what these things provide for people, because, as I said before, many times the barriers to these opportunities are simply self-imposed, or if a person doesn't know the path to get to it. And that's really what is the satisfaction of these, and to see these people succeed and to achieve is tremendously exciting and also just very rewarding.
Absolutely. It is seeing people change their lives. The average age of our student is 36. Just in a couple weeks, we'll have the annual commencement ceremony at the War Memorial in Trenton. When you see the people come across the stage and you hear their children and their loved ones in the audience cheer for them, and you hear them say, "I did it. This was something I wanted to do, and son or daughter, you can do it too." I can't really express adequately the emotion that all of us feel on the stage watching that and hearing how education has really changed the pathway of these adults.
I cannot imagine the joy that you experience, but also the joy that these people are experiencing, the opportunities, all connected back to STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, all tied together. Dr. Mary Ellen Caro from Thomas Edison State University and Captain Bart Roberts from JetBlue, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate everything you're doing. Stay with us. We'll be right back right after this.
To watch more Caucus New Jersey, find us online and follow us on social media.
We are pleased to be speaking to Elaine Katz from Kessler Foundation. We just finished up this Life After Stroke Innovations in Research, Reclaiming Life and Regaining Independence. Elaine, we just had a powerful conversation and dialogue, not just with the audience, but with these great panelists, talking about life after stroke. What's your biggest takeaway from this?
I think the biggest takeaway is that it's so important after research to get it right into practice. And the advantage of Kessler Foundation is that we're able to do the research and with our relationship with Kessler Institute, take it right into a clinical setting.
Yeah. You know what's so interesting about this? You think you know the questions that are going to be asked. We had an open forum where we were talking about life after stroke, regaining your life after stroke, and the value of the research. It's fascinating because this work is not being done in this way anywhere across the country.
Well, that's one advantage we have at Kessler Foundation, is that we're doing new, innovative research, and at the same time we're disseminating it not only in the United States of therapists, but also internationally. So our research is not, we're known as Kessler Foundation and Kessler Institute, our relationship in New Jersey, but we're way beyond that. We have an international reputation for our scientists.
We've had this discussion before when you're in the studio with us. Remind folks, again, folks know that we are, our production operation, our not-for-profit production operation is one of the grantees, but some of the grantees that you support are really directly involved in helping those who are dealing with all kinds of challenges, correct?
Correct. I think we have our research side of the foundation, and then we have our program side, which works with organizations to increase employment. And then we also have grant making that helps people in sports and recreation, and also in other therapies that may be reimbursed by insurance.
Yeah. One of the pieces that's interesting as you talk about life after stroke, and one of the areas that's fascinating to me is that people who ask questions today, not just about life after stroke, but they wanted to understand risk factors associated with stroke and what can I do. Were you surprised at that?
I think I was very surprised that it was just exercise could really diminish your chance of stroke. But really, I think what came out of the discussion is that disability can happen to any of us. It's a club we can join at any point in our lives. And the important thing that came out through this discussion is that it really takes a team approach. It's your own physician with a team of therapists working with your family that can make a difference in your quality of life following any injury or accident.
A final message to everyone about the research going on here and how people can actually find out. And the average person watching right now, public broadcasting files, seeing us digitally, wherever, someone says, well, I want to find out about that research. Is it actually accessible to the average person, or do you have to be part of the research community?
I think the important thing is our research is open to anyone. If you contact us at kesslerfoundation.org, there's information on our website on how you become part of the research study.
Actually become part of, potentially?
You can become part. We'll screen you. We have many different studies going on. Tonight's event was about stroke, but we have studies going on in spinal cord injury, traumatic brain injury, multiple sclerosis. So we work in a whole host of different other areas, which is probably another show for you. But at the same time, please contact us at www.kesslerfoundation.org. Of course, you could also give us a call, and we'd be happy to direct you in the to the right person who could help screen for some of the studies.
Thanks, Elaine.
Thank you.
I am honored to be speaking to one of the participants here at the Kessler Foundation Life After Stroke conference. He is William Bo James. I met you at last year's conference, and you're a stroke robotic exoskeleton participant. You're from Newark, New Jersey, my hometown, from the same hometown, but what I am not is a former middleweight boxer, firefighter, Sergeant First Class in the National Guard. We thank you for your service. We thank you for talking to us. When people hear about this exoskeleton, what is it and what's it like to be in that skeleton?
Oh, to me, when I first got into it, I didn't know what to expect. But once I got in, they told me, you know, what it's going to do. I loved it. It's like I didn't want to get out of it.
You were moving?
Yes, I was moving. Mm-hmm.
Now, you experienced a stroke February of 2015.
Yeah.
How did it change your life?
Changed a lot. It stopped me for a lot of things I used to do, you know, like in the gym, work with fighters, you know, and my running and stuff, my everyday routine. So it really put me, you know, really stopped me from doing a whole lot of things.
So, and by the way, I want to be clear. You're working out all the time. You were in the gym. You were taking care of your business. The stroke happens in the beginning of 2015. Your life changes. This exoskeleton has given you what?
Actually, like gave me a second chance, getting back on track, getting my life back together, back to what I used to do.
How does it actually help? And because I heard you're back in the gym, I heard you're training some future champs. How does that work?
Well, the work is like, now, after I get out, I still do, because I'm now working out every day now with things, with stuff what they gave me from a therapy, but I still do at home,
Describe your workout.
Oh, work with the leg and the arm, stretching the arm, stretching the leg with the elastic rope and stuff, so it's getting better, yeah.
You're confident about your recovery, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Why is that?
Because I know. As a fighter, you always had, always bleeding yourself that just you go do better. And I feel as though me being as a fighter, I could fight this. All the fights I had, I know I could fight this too. I could beat this too, So I want to be back 100%. Mm-hmm.
So, Bo, let me ask you this. You put on this exoskeleton equipment. How challenging was it to learn how to actually use it?
In the beginning, it was hard. But after a few times in it, I got used to it. I love it.
And now?
And now,
when you put it on?
Yeah, I'll put it on now.
And you move pretty good with it?
Uh-huh. Yes.
What's your message to anyone else? Because there are 7 million Americans dealing with a stroke. What would you say to them right now?
I say, you gotta take a day at a time, but never give up. Stay in the game, because you will be back to 100%. Just stay with it. Just keep working out. Stay with it.
Where does your positive attitude come from?
My grandkids and my kids, so they keep me positive. When I think of them, keep me positive.
Well, we wish you nothing but the best. Thank you very much.
Steve, thank you, Steve. Thank you very much for having me.
To see more Caucus New Jersey with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato PhD. And follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
We are pleased to be joined once again by Dr. John Hajjar, founder, chairman, and CEO, Sovereign Health System, and Dr. Rodney Jarnett, who is head of school, Dwight-Englewood School. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
It's a great story we have to tell here. This gentleman had 3 sons go to your school.
Yes.
2 twin boys and another young man.
All right.
They had a great experience at his school, and you decided to do what?
Decided that I wanted to contribute, I wanted to give back to the school that had given tremendous education to my boys, and I was on the board of trustees, and we wanted to build something that was everlasting in the school, and they were always talking about a STEM building. So
a STEM building, science, technology,
science,
engineering, math.
That's correct. So Rodney approached me with the concept, and I knew about the concept prior to that, and one thing led to the other. With his leadership and his vision, we decided to put the program together, and that took us about over a period of 2 years to start getting people involved and put the architectural designs together, and turned out to be a wonderful building.
And it is the Hajjar STEM Center. Describe it as we show some pictures. It's extraordinary. Go ahead.
Well, it's extraordinary because it's very unlike anything that you'll see anywhere else. We went all over the world, all over the country, looking at the best designs and the most recently built science STEM facilities. We wanted to create a facility where STEM education could really be integrated, not only within the curriculum, but between the curriculum. So,
I'm looking at pictures. Go ahead. Keep talking.
It is a wow. Basically, where we could allow math, science, technology, engineering, and math to really blend together. So we've created a science lab that is very unlike anyone else, where the emphasis is on doing science, not listening to science. Children really do it. The mathematics classes have no front of the room. There's no place where the teacher leads the class. It's the students learning. It's all about doing. We developed some really strong tenets for the building, and one is that you learn by doing, so the classrooms are really reflective of the students are going to learn by doing what they do and not listening. We did fun things like we took the engineering classes, and instead of putting them in a room where people wouldn't see it, we put the equipment in the labs, but the kids have to go outside. They're in the open spaces. So students walk by and seeing the robotics and the engineering projects being built. And actually, I've kidded John about this, but the first week it opened, we had students walk by and look at the engineering classes because they were out in the open, and within the first week, their enrollment tripled.
They saw it.
They saw it, and it tripled. Yeah.
Charles, let me ask you, we've had conversations offline, and your passion for science and technology, for research is so clear.
Yes.
What is this like for you?
This is incredible. This is something that I've never imagined it could happen. And you know, as a scientist, and as I knew that science and mathematics are intertwined together, and this is a perfect forum to study all these fields together and how they interact. And I'm hoping that the next student that comes out from here will be the Steve Jobs of the future.
You see that?
Yeah, oh, definitely. I see that. There's no doubt about it, because it is such an incredible curriculum and incredible program that Rodney put together. And the STEM building is just a perfect medium for the student to.
But you said, sorry for interrupting, you said this right before we got on the air. I said, well, you know, other places like this in the country, and you said, not in the world.
That's correct.
Not in the world, Doctor.
No. I think one of the things we benefited from, most of the science buildings in the United States sort of came to end of life at the same time, because after Sputnik went up, there was a huge building program in the United States, so everybody built science programs about the same time. They all came to end of life in the 90s. Most schools replaced them in the 90s, colleges and universities, and we benefited by actually waiting a little longer and really learning more about the way science, math, engineering, technology can be blended together. So we benefited by building something after we learned from all the lessons other people had learned.
The walls that you can write on, talk about that.
Well, one of the tenets we had in the building, one of the second tenets is that learning happens everywhere.
We're looking at that as well.
And it's a little bit like adults when they go to conferences. Sometimes the best thing about the conferences are the conversations that happen between the meetings.
Right.
And this actually came from the MIT Stata building up in Boston. We realized that they had done a really wonderful job of making the spaces outside the classrooms as valuable as the spaces inside the classroom. And we realized that we wanted the outside. We didn't want any hallways. The building has no hallways. Hallways are wasted spaces. We wanted the spaces outside of the classroom to be as important as the spaces inside the classrooms. And the walls the students write on, they're in the hallways, they step outside of a classroom, continue the discussion, and you can go into the building at any time and see formulas and problem-solving techniques on the walls and see the work that's happening.
And what kind of teachers does it take to be able to do this? Or is it the same teachers being trained in different ways?
I think the same teachers, but they're being trained. I mean, we've always had quality teachers at school. Now they have to train themselves a little bit differently. So because it's an integrated model, you know, you're integrating a lot of the fields together, and these teachers have been able to step up to the plate.
Yeah, and I think one of when we built the building, we wanted the building to push us, to actually change us, which is challenging for an architect to do, and the architects, like the Kessler firm, actually did a wonderful job of that. So for instance, all of our STEM faculty are in the same office. We don't have math and science, they're all together, and we purposely made the office a little too small so that would force the faculty out to be out in the open working with the students. Forced interaction. And the integration, like we don't teach in our school, for instance, a bio and a chem course. We teach an integrated biochemistry because we don't believe you can learn one without the other. In mathematics, we don't teach an algebra, geometry. We take advanced algebra, advanced geometry, probability, data analysis, and statistics, and integrate it over 2 years.
Wow. Doctor, do this for us. We happen to know the Sovereign Health System as a supporter of public broadcasting. But for those who do not know, describe what you guys are and why the organization would be interested in this as well.
Well, Sovereign Health System, as you know, it's a healthcare integrated organization that has a lot of the ancillary services to provide healthcare to the community, especially in Bergen County. Because
where this school is.
Yes. As a matter of fact, the school is located in an area where we have several offices. We have about 5 different office sites around the school itself. As a matter of fact, many of the parents who send their kids to the school are my physicians. So we believe in science. Sovereign health system, we believe in the mathematics, and we want the children of our physicians to go to a community, to go to a school that has quality education.
Before I let you out of here, a minute left. Do you see other people around the country, other leaders, educational leaders, innovators, saying, we want this?
We have been
wanting it's one thing, making it happen is another.
The facility has been in use for a little over a year, about a year and a couple weeks, and we have been visited by schools and colleges all around the country, and even from other countries have visited the program. People are very, very impressed. They're trying to take some of the lessons that we learned, and I think to learn you have to take a risk. You can't learn without taking a risk. An entrepreneurial allowed us to take a risk and create a building that is very much on the edge.
And you're making a difference in the lives of so many young people who are going to make a difference in the lives of others later. Doctor, I cannot thank you enough. We appreciate it. Keep doing what you're doing.
Right.
See you next time.
The preceding program has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence, and 13 for WNET, NJTV, and WHYY. Funding for this edition of Caucus New Jersey has been provided by Adler Aphasia Center, Wells Fargo, Seton Hall University, PSE&G, New Jersey Sharing Network, NJM, and by Josh S. Weston. Promotional support provided by NJ.com, Small News, Big News, True Jersey, and by Commerce Magazine. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. Caucus New Jersey has been produced in partnership with TriStar Studios.
Hi, I'm Peter Rooney. In 2006, I lost my father to renal disease. He was on the waiting list for a new kidney, but did not receive one in time. Unfortunately, so many like my father have lost their lives while waiting for a life-saving organ. At New Jersey Sharing Network, we're committed to saving and enhancing people's lives through organ and tissue donation and by informing people about this important decision. Because you can make a difference and save a life.